At first I was worried that people just hated this movie and made it a flop out of spite. And then I watched it, and it dawned on me why. Yo, Andrew here. Blue Beetle is one of those movies everyone has been watching the wrong way. See, as I was sitting there watching this movie, I glanced down the aisle of the cinema and I saw this kid no older than 10 years old, and she was laughing and having somewhat of a good time. That's when I knew, oh, this movie's for kids. And with that being said, I'll give you 13 reasons not to watch this movie and 3 reasons to watch this movie in my pros and cons list later on in this video. I will also share my ratings out of 10 if you're interested, so please stick around. First, let's talk about the plot. A boy out of desperation to save his family home after the house rent had tripled tries to get any job so he could save his family home. Boy meets girl at one of the jobs. Girl out of desperation from being caught by security gives boy a package and warns him not to open it. Boy opens the package anyway and a blue beetle scarab climbs into his butt. Yes, you heard that right. Boy gets superpower and boy doesn't want superpowers. Boy uses reluctant superpower to save family and girl from evil tech CEO who wants to harness the boy's newfound blue beetle power to create a big army of superpowered human-robot hybrids for herself, to sell them to the government. Of course, boy uses the power of family to destroy the evil tech CEO. Oh God. You wanted to click away, didn't you? I want to click away. But I feel like now we're in this together, so let's see it all the way through. Starting with cons. Con number 1. Susan Sarandon did this movie for the sweet, sweet paycheck. And I would too. I get it. Con number 2. This movie copied everything from Black Panther, Green Lantern, Power Rangers, Mexicans, Iron Man, Venom, and it didn't do it in a good way. It was just an awful ripoff. Con number 3. I think this movie was written by AI. Like, if someone told me this movie was written by AI, I wouldn't doubt them at all. Con number 4, the costumes look cheap. Con number 5, in one of the scenes as a cute romantic gesture, he offers to fly his love interest into the sky. And then he proceeds to fly up with so much velocity, he would snap this girl's neck. Since it was pretty much the end of the movie, I just assumed the girl died. He hit this lady with like 12 G's all at once. Her guts would have been jumbled up. Like when she said, rearrange my guts, this is not what she meant. Con number 6, the product placement for Toyota Tacoma was a little bit on the nose. Con number 7, Blue Beetle's power is basically just Green Lantern's powers. He just has to think of a weapon and then his hands just turn to that weapon. We've seen that before in the DCU, and maybe, yes, it might be accurate to the character, but it's just boring. Con number 8, George Lopez was spectacularly awful in this movie. George Lopez from henceforth needs to do smaller and smaller supporting roles. He's just hemorrhaging money for any production company that keeps casting him in anything. He was overacting in every scene. Here's how they could have fixed this role. Let's say they cast another Latino or stand-up comedian like, say, Ralph Barbosa. And his character is a stoner type nerd who is good at playing video games and is quite tech savvy and could have had the potential of going to MIT but doesn't like authority so he doesn't make it. Then all the crap that George Lopez's character did will make way more sense. George Lopez is like 62 years old. It just didn't feel right to be that overly enthusiastic at that age. Now, I'm not ageist. No, sir, I am not. I'm just saying, at my age, I love when people cancel plans. I'm like, oh, cancel away, buddy, cancel away. Now, and that's let alone be overly enthusiastic about anything. George Lopez is 62. There is no way anyone is that enthusiastic. Con number 9. Somehow George Lopez's character is the Mexican equivalent of a redneck. And also somehow technologically savvy. So savvy he can even pilot what seems like a Beetle aircraft ship type thing he literally just found 1 minute ago. His character just doesn't know who he's supposed to be. Con number 10. Everyone seems like a knockoff version of someone even better. Except Susan Sarandon. She was just absolutely forgettable. You know what? She felt more like a knockoff version of a better Susan Sarandon. See con number 1. Con number 11. For a movie that was positioned to be a blockbuster type deal, it really felt like a Nickelodeon mini-series. The CGI wasn't that good. Like, it was okay, but it was not good at all. Like, in the grand scheme of things, it looked pretty cheap. I mean, the CGI was fine. It just could have been better, especially for a DC movie. Con number 12. They had the audacity, and I mean the audacity, to tease a part 2 in the after credits. Where do you get off? Like, where do you get off? How do you think we're gonna watch a part 2 after this crap? Okay, that was a bit harsh. A bit much, actually. Con number 13. It doesn't tie into any of the DC comics produced so far. So it's kind of a waste of time for those who are invested in the comic universe. Or maybe even a relief. I mean, it could go either way, really. Okay, now let's ease into the pros. Pro number 1. Your kids will love this movie. It's a very kid-friendly movie. The marketing should have been way more kid-centric in the beginning. Pro number 2. The cast looked like they had fun whilst making this movie, and that's kind of nice. Pro number 3. This movie is entertaining. However, it's entertaining in the way that it makes for a great background movie, whilst you do something else, or distract the kids whilst you do something else. Perhaps make more kids. I'm gonna go ahead and rate this movie a 1 out of 10. However, it should be a 4 out of 10 because no one sets out to make an awful movie. And I know the cast and crew worked really hard, and I know how hard it is to make anything. It's just that damn George Lopez. He ruined this for me, so I'm gonna give this movie a 1 out of 10. Okay, so my thoughts on this movie. At the core of this movie, the main message is family. You need family behind you to achieve most of your successes. That's all you need to know about this movie going in. I also think the guys at Warner Bros. Need their own streaming platform, like Disney Plus, so they can have a place to dump movies like this without wasting our money at the cinemas. It's like they wanted this movie to flop. Now, should you watch this film? Well, only if you have kids in the age range of 5 to 14, or you're one of those adults who simply likes to watch lighthearted things that you don't have to think too deeply about. Then this movie is for you. And folks, that's my 2 cents. Thanks for sticking around all the way to the end. And if this video brought you any value, please like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.